Because these the brothers that's outside, that's on the pavement, where you can reach out and touch them. These are not internet fucking Hebrew Israelites, okay? Like a lot of these clowns. They are internet Hebrew Israelites, that's it. They are not in the highways and the byways, as the Most High tells you to be in the goddamn highways and the byways and raise your damn voice like a trumpet to reach the masses of our people. And y'all niggas are not doing that. You are internet fake ass Hebrew Israelites. And that's why I always make my distinction. I always say not all.
Believe in the Bible, brother? No. You got a minute? Sure. Come on up, brother. Come on up.
What's up?
Yeah, we out here teaching the so-called, these people that's on this sign, they are the 12 tribes of Israel. You ever heard of the 12 tribes of Israel?
I am.
Huh?
I do.
You on this sign?
Yes, sir.
Where you at?
I'm a Levite from the tribe
From Haiti?
No, from Israel.
How you know you a tribe of Levi from Haiti?
I'm not from Haiti. I'm from.
I mean, how you know you are from the 12 tribes from the tribe of Levi?
Because I'm a descendant of the Kohen.
Who?
The Kohen.
Can you give me a scripture to prove that?
That I'm from the tribe of Kohen.
Hey, give me Titus chapter 4 verse.
Who's Kohen?
Kohen. It's the Hebrew word for priest.
Oh, you're talking about the Jewish belief, right?
Yes.
You know, like when they tell you why you're acting childish.
No, it's more like the.
No, but when someone tells you why you're acting childish, what they say? That you're acting like a kid, right?
Okay.
Right? That's what Jewish people is. They acting like the Jews. Right. The word Jew comes from the tribe of Judah. All the Judahs are this color. Look, this color.
More Middle Eastern, but yeah, sure.
Right. Read that real quick.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God.
So the Bible telling us, like, if we try to speak or prove something, we got to come out of the Bible. Can't come out of what we think.
Sure.
Because anything you got to prove, say, hey, you a priest or you come from the tribe of Levi, you got to come out of the Bible to show it to me. Go ahead.
If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which God giveth.
Now give me that in prove all first. Right. So we got to prove. We got to be able to prove what we're saying. So give me Deuteronomy. I'm gonna show you how we know these people on this sign are the Israelites or the real Jews.
Okay.
I'm gonna show it to you. Give me Deuteronomy 1:1. Let's start. So the book of Deuteronomy, this is the book of the law. You know that, right? 5 books of Moses is the book of the law. So this is Moses. You got that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 21. Prove all things.
What the Bible say?
Prove all things.
So what we got to bring out, if we coming up and say, yeah, I'm from this tribe, or I'm from that tribe, we got to be able to prove it. How we prove it? Out of the Holy Scripture. So I'm going to prove to you that the so-called Haitians are the so-called Levi.
Go for it, I'm interested.
All right. We got to see. Go to Deuteronomy 1:1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Speaking to who?
All Israel.
Speaking to who?
All Israel.
So these are the words Moses speaking to all Israel. Deuteronomy 27. So we're going to go precept upon precept. Right? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. And it shall be on that day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land.
So this Moses from Deuteronomy 1:27, he's still talking to the Israel. So let's go to 28.
To them right before they enter the land of Israel.
Right, right, in the wilderness, right? So let's go to 28 and 15. Let's see what they're going to say to the Israelites. Give me Daniel chapter 9.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So he's still talking to them.
I mean, that's the whole book.
Huh?
That's the whole book. He's talking to the people of Israel.
Right. Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of thy Lord, of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
To do what?
To do all his commandments.
To do all these commandments that he brought down, right?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
And his statutes,
Uh-huh.
which I command thee this day,
Uh-huh.
that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses,
What is a curse, brother?
Curse is opposite of blessing.
Right. So all these curses what?
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he telling the Israelites, if they don't listen to these, what God say to keep the commandments, he's going to put curses on them. Read that. What Daniel said.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 10. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God,
Right?
to walk in his laws which he set before us.
Right. Because you would say like the Jewish people, they're not living under no curses. Would you say that?
Well, the Holocaust was pretty messed up when that happened, and Spanish Inquisition, and being kicked out of everywhere from Eastern Asia, and the slaughter in North Africa, and the exile from England, there was quite a few curses, yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't until the past few years
We're going to go to the
actually,
Bible.
especially from the past few years that Jewish people were able to have equal rights.
Yeah, we're going to see if the curses fit the Jewish people or the so-called black people, black and Hispanic. Because you named all the Holocaust and all these exodus out of different places. Let's go see if any of that stuff in the scriptures. Right, go ahead, read that again.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in his laws which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel,
All who?
all Israel
All of the Israelites. Go ahead.
have transgressed thy law,
Uh-huh.
even by departing,
Uh-huh.
that they might not obey thy voice.
Uh-huh.
Therefore the curse,
The what?
the curse
So Daniel is a witness. He's saying the curses, go ahead.
is poured upon us.
So the curses is poured upon all the Israelites. Because the so-called Jewish man, he owned the banking. He owned the movie company.
Well,
He
not
owned all the
right then.
record labels. So we wouldn't say like the Jewish man is really under no curses. Because he's living in all his riches and all his glory.
Well, you
He
got to
even-
remember that the Jewish mindset in the time of writing the scripture was that all the people were under one organization. So if there were people suffering, it was considered the people. There was not an individual sense like we have here in the United States.
Right, but hold on. You read.
And also, you got to keep in mind, Daniel is saying this from his position as
After
an
that time,
advisor.
right.
So if he's saying that as a position as the advisor, that all the Jewish people broke the law, do you think that he doesn't apply to himself?
Right. He was under the curses too.
He
So
was
we're
under the
going
curse,
to
yet he
see.
had the power of the advisor in Babylon.
Right.
So what you're saying is it wouldn't apply to him. You're saying that he's saying that all the people of Israel are under the
Well,
curse.
we know
just
he's
by not
Israelite.
being- Yes, exactly. And yet he's an advisor. But you're saying that because we have Jewish people that are successful, that they're not under the same curse.
We're going to
Even
go
though
through the
person that wrote
curses.
it
We're going to go.
is an advisor. Does that make sense?
Let's go through some of these curses to
Go
see
for it.
do the Jewish people fit some of these curses. Go to verse 46. We're going to see if the Jewish man fit the curses or do the so-called black and Hispanic people fit the curses. Because the Bible says the curses will be upon you and your seed forever. That means it ain't going to end till Christ comes. Right, go ahead.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
The curse is going to be upon the Israelites for a sign to identify who the people are. Go ahead.
And for a wonder.
Uh-huh.
And upon thy seed forever.
How long the curse is going to be upon?
Forever.
No, we're going to own bank.
Forever.
No, we're going to own the diamond district.
Forever.
How long the curse is going to be upon the Israelites?
Forever.
Now let's get a curse, verse 32. Let's see if this fit the Jewish man. Because you said the Jewish man did the Holocaust and did this. We're going to go through the curse.
Well, they didn't
See
do it.
who
They
it
were on the
fits.
receiving end.
All right, how many people got killed in the Holocaust?
There were 10 million people that got killed, 6 million of which were Jewish
All right.
in Hitler's writings.
How about
before he was
100 million black people got killed in slavery? 77 million Native Americans got murdered with smallpox. So I think those curses outweigh the curses that you saying the so-called Jewish
I
man
wouldn't
went
call
through.
it a curse. I would say that it was a horrible thing that
Right.
happened, and I wouldn't say that it was under God that it happened. But yes, sir.
I have to get this out.
Yeah, let him
Go
keep
for it.
speaking
Please,
first.
go ahead.
If we keep interrupting, we're gonna leave. So just let him get it out.
Which
then.
Jewish people you know got taken out of their land in chains and yokes of
We're
iron?
gonna get that.
Babylon, Rome,
No. Into another land so they don't know.
Babylon, Rome, Russia,
That was after.
Spain.
I'm gonna show it to you.
Uh,
I'm gonna show it to you. Go ahead, read verse 32.
Thy sons and thy daughters
It says the sons and the daughters, go ahead.
shall be given unto another people.
Shall be what?
Given unto another people.
Uh-huh.
And thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all.
So it says that the so-called Jews, their sons and daughters was given into another people. We know that happened in slavery because when we got off those slave ships, that's why we got these images. On auction blocks, they was selling our kids off, right? From the parents. They was taking the parents and selling them in one land and taking the kids, selling them in another land. Go ahead.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
We had no power in our hand. Go ahead.
The fruit of thy land.
Hold on. This shit had no what?
No,
No what?
there shall be no might in thy hand.
Do any black person have might in their hand? You see the people in Israel, they got a military, so they got might. They got
That's actually
power.
very interesting that you bring up that point. That actually happened in the 1940s. So all throughout history, up from the year 0 all the way up to about 1940s, the Jewish people were without any land or any place to call their home. Meanwhile, there are a lot of pretty much all of northern to right above South Africa was all under possession of black people. So I don't know if that really balances, especially if you look to Revelations that said that the people will be returned to their homeland. And those places that
You do know who owns Africa today, right?
many different countries.
Not Africa.
Africa is many different countries.
It's Europe. Europe owns Africa.
Not at the
Europe
moment.
owns this here.
Not,
Yes, sir. Yes,
We're
yes.
gonna get some of these curses. We're gonna get some. All right. So we didn't have no power in our hand, no military might, no economical might to get our children back in slavery, right? So jump to verse 48. We just gonna match up these curses and see who they fit, because whoever these curses fit, these are the real Jews.
so you're saying that the struggles that matches them only one can fit, or if they fit
No,
both?
they will have to fit all the curses. They can't just fit one or two. Say, okay, we fit this curse because we did this. You have to fit all the curses in order to be a Jew, to a T, every last one. So we give you 1 point, and we'll give 1 point because y'all fit that curse, we fit that curse. Okay, 1-1. We're gonna keep going. Go.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
The what?
Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies,
So it say the Jews will have to serve their enemies in what?
which the Lord shall send against them.
In what?
In hunger.
In what?
In hunger.
In what?
In hunger.
When we need food, we have to serve our enemies. That means we will have to serve our enemies. Like if we want food to feed our family, we have to go to Costco, right? Sam Club, Walmart. I think the Jewish man own all those things. Most of those things.
So
So
the Jewish people have the Jewish people were servants in Rome, Babylon, all the way to
Read that.
Go ahead.
read that.
This is the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 6.
Chapter 11.
And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom.
The Lord will show thee the secret of wisdom, because we know these curses say
Wait,
these.
what is that? What is that related to?
I'm gonna show it to you. Because this thing happened before, but then again it said that these things gonna last forever. These curses ain't gonna never stop.
What about
So-
until Christ comes and we no
I'm
longer
gonna get
live
that.
under the curse
I'm
of
gonna give
the
it to
law?
you. It say these curses gonna last forever. So read that again.
And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom. That they are double.
They are what?
They are double.
Even if it happened in Babylonian, that means these scriptures are double. That means it's gonna happen again. Go ahead.
to that which is.
That which is. So let's read 48 again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy
So
enemies.
these curses got to keep going on. You can't say, okay, I'm poor, and then somehow I got rich. These
Well,
curses
as
got to
I
be.
said earlier, it's under all the people, not
Read
just
verse
the individual.
46 again. Read
And
verse-
they shall be upon thee for a sign
Uh-huh.
and for a wonder
Uh-huh.
upon thy seed.
What it mean upon your seed? That mean upon your
Generation
children,
to
generation, right? So that means these curses going to keep generation. Go ahead.
Forever.
How long?
Forever.
We're going to get rich.
Forever.
Right. So let's go back to 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
So we got to serve our enemies, the so-called Jew, the real Jew. Go ahead.
which the Lord shall send against thee.
In what?
In hunger.
In what?
In hunger.
So these curses going to be upon him forever. Anywhere the Jew have to go, he have to serve his enemy for food. So the so-called black and Hispanics, man, we don't own none of these grocery stores. So we have to serve the so-called Jewish man, because they own Walmart, Sam Club, Costco, BJ, Public. So we have to serve them for food and whatever.
Well, question. Look into how Jesus' death affected the
Hold
curse.
on, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna go through the curse. We're gonna get through the curse, and then we're gonna go
But
there.
you're saying that black people are the only people under the curse. Are you saying that because you accepted Jesus, you guys are no longer under the curse?
We proving who the Jews are first. Then we're gonna get there. We're gonna
It
get
doesn't
there.
match up.
It does match up. We're gonna get there. Go ahead.
And in thirst.
And what?
And in thirst.
When we need water, we have to go to the so-called enemy. Right? Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
When we need clothes, we have to serve our enemy. Because we don't own none of the textual clothes. The so-called Jewish man owned all that stuff, right? Because he funded the slave ships for us to come from Africa over to America. He funded the good shit.
People that were funding the ship.
Look it
People were
up.
not
Look it up. Look it up. Real
People
quick.
were,
Look it up on your phone. Who funded the slave ships? Keep reading.
And in want of all things.
In the what?
And in want of all things.
Hold on. In the what?
And in want of all things.
And anything we want, we have to serve our enemy to get it. If we need a driver's license, we have to go to the so-called enemy. We need an education, we got to go to the enemy. Right? Read it again.
And in want of all
If
things.
the Jews want anything, they have to go to their enemy. Anything they want, in the want of all things. That's what the Bible says. You have to go to your enemy for the want of all things. Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke.
He's going to do what?
Put a yoke.
He's going to do what?
Put a yoke.
He's going to put a what?
A yoke
A yoke of what?
of iron upon thy neck.
Did the so-called black man have a yoke of iron upon his neck?
Not quite. That's a chain. That's not exactly a yoke.
What is it?
Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck
Uh-huh.
until he have destroyed thee.
Did he did what?
Until he has destroyed thee.
Farming tools.
Hold on. Did the,
People like animals.
did the so-called Jewish man have yokes of iron upon his neck?
Hell no.
That's not a yoke, but yes, it is a chain.
All right. Do the Jewish man have to serve anybody else for food?
Here in America, that's right.
Right. So that's 2 points for us. Right. 1 point for you. So we 1 point ahead. All right.
There's technically 2 points each for fine.
Well, how that 2 points? You just admitted that the so-called Jewish man don't have to serve nobody
Not
to
here
get
in America.
food.
Thank God.
Right. So they don't have to. Even if we go to Israel, we still have to work for them to get food. Because we don't
It's the
own
one
it.
country. It's the one country they got returned.
It don't
As
matter.
Daniel said-
Wherever we go, we got to
As Daniel
serve.
said, as Daniel said, when one day near the end times they will get their country back.
All right. Let's see if they
Now, what do
can.
you guys interpret when they said that they'll be kicked out from their country, but they'll get their
We're going
country
to get there.
back?
We're going to finish a couple of
Now,
these
please explain
curses.
that to me, 'cause that's-
We're going to get the curses. Then we're going to get there. But we got all day.
I really
We
don't.
got all day. Let's go to some more of these curses. Right? Go to verse. Let's get the headbanger. Verse 68.
British.
Well, hold on. We're going to get that.
Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
Deuteronomy
Hold on,
28,
Let's
verse
see it.
68.
Let's see it. Go,
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with
What
ships.
the Bible mean? The Lord going to bring you into Egypt again? Because the Israelites exited out of Egypt. Did they ever go back again?
Well, the Israelites, many times throughout their scripture,
Sometimes, some of them went back to as a nation. Did they ever go back?
the Bible uses a lot of countries as symbolism for the countries, for the effects of future countries. For example, the future Babylon will commit crimes in Revelation, but modern day Babylon does not exist anymore. The slave ships were going from Africa out, not to Africa.
Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So they going back into Egypt again. What Egypt is it talking about?
Egypt is right there.
Give me
but the
Revelation.
slave ships were going away from
Give me
Egypt, so that
Revelation.
would be going against your point.
I'm gonna show you what it is. 18 and 11. Let's see what it means. What it means. I'm gonna bring you into Egypt again. You got it, Mom?
You said 11 and 18?
going to show you what it is.
11 and 8.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8.
Read.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
What's the great city?
Can you say that one more time? My fiance is freaking out.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually
So this is a spiritually what?
is called Sodom and Egypt.
So a great city is called Sodom and Egypt. So the city is spiritually. That's like Babylon. What world is kind of like Great Babylon the Great? Today?
Every country thinks that the modern day is going to be the future.
Where's Babylon the Great? Mystery Babylon that now?
Well, Babylon was in the
I'm
Middle
talking
East.
about ancient Babylon. I'm talking about mystery Babylon.
We don't know yet. It's a mystery. It's in the name.
It says a great city. Is America a great city?
Sure. So
Is
is
it the
Rome,
number one
so is
power?
England.
It's the number one. Hold on.
If
We're
we
talking
all
about
do
the
this-
greatest city, the number one power
There'll be great cities
where
after
all nations come in that want to come to. Do everybody want to go to England?
They did back then.
We ain't talking about back then. Read it again.
Revelations doesn't just apply to us. God.
Read that from the top. So we're just going to go to whatever this great city is. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt
To
again
this great city, again how?
with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
So did the so-called Jewish men go into slavery on ships?
If you look at the word for ship in the original Hebrew, they were referring to boats that were in no way capable of crossing over the ocean.
How can you go from Egypt in a ship?
Easy.
That's
Go
why I
from
told
literally
y'all to
anywhere
pull up
else.
that word, because I knew he was going to run to the Hebrew.
So
So he said we should go to where? Hold on, did the Jewish man go into slavery on ships? Because they got to fit the
went from
curses to a
slavery
T,
to
right?
Everywhere.
Did they go on ships?
They went everywhere. Yes. They were
See,
brought
I
in.
know you ain't a real Jew because your wife run you, tell you what to do.
That's right.
A real Jew, his wife won't be running him, telling him what to do.
That's right.
My wife was telling me, honey, we gotta go. I say, hey, honey, go sit down. I'll be with you in a minute. A real Jew know how to rule his household well.
That's right.
Not these women that come up and say, hey, we gotta do this. I'm your boss. You gotta go do this. So when the tank start getting hot, that's when everybody start running. Because he know he can't prove that the so-called Jewish man, they don't fit no curses to them going on those ships. Look it up, because we're going to prove it to the camera. Let's look up Jewish man going into slavery on ships. It's not there. It never happened. He said they went into the Holocaust. That's in Germany some damn where. It said that these people were going to a spiritually place called Egypt, a great city. The so-called Jewish man never went into slavery on a ship into a great city. They never did that. So that's another strike on him. So we know the so-called Jewish man is a damn convert. He converted into Judaism. Read that what you're going to read about the Declaration. Because we know the so-called European or British put them in their land. Let's see who's going to put the Israelites in the land. Let's see if the so-called British man going to put you in there or Yahweh Shai going to put you in that land. Finish that off.
Bring it out.
68.
He shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Slavery again on ships. Who went in the ship? The so-called black and Hispanic. Right? Go ahead.
By the way that whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We not going to see it no more again. Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
When you get off those ships, you're going to be sold into your enemy. Right? I want to see where the so-called Jewish man got sold to his enemy in Deuteronomy 64, scattered among all the nations, all over. In slavery. Go ahead.
For bondmen.
For what?
For bondmen.
Slave man.
And bondwoman. And no man shall buy you.
And no man gonna redeem you. Let's see, did the so-called Jewish man got redeemed by Christ? Or is the so-called black man and Hispanic man gonna be redeemed? Right, read that what you got in there.
This is from Wikipedia. Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government.
Issued by who?
The British government.
No, Yahweh Shai.
The British government.
The British government.
In 1917, during the First World War, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people
For
in
the-
Palestine.
For the Jewish people in Palestine. Go ahead.
Then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. The declaration was contained in a letter dated to the 2nd of November 1917 from the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to none other than Lord Rothschild.
Right. So let's see who's going to put the so-called Jewish man or the Jew, the real Jew from Judah, back in that land. Is it going to be England or is it going to be Yahweh Shah? Right? Let's get some scriptures, because we ain't done. We're not done. We're going to prove that the so-called Jewish man is not the real Jew. That the so-called Puerto Rican man, the black and Hispanic man, is the real Jew. That's why things was getting hot. His wife come up, and he pew me out and run away. Give me that in Timothy 5.
Get me out of here.
And like verse 3 or something. Read that real quick.
The book of
Go read that.
Isaiah 60, verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
What?
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
So the Bible say violence is not going to be heard in the land of Israel. When the so-called Jewish people get the hell out of there, because they got all kind of violence in the land. They just went to war with Palestine. They have gay parades in that land. That land is polluted. It's polluted over there. So it say violence will no more be in the land. Go ahead.
Wasting nor destruction within thy borders.
Right, ain't gonna be no more wasting or destruction in the borders of Jerusalem when the real Jews get there.
That's right.
We got all kind of violence going on over there. Right, they the number one in the gay parade. They leading all nations, right, with the gays and homosexuals. Go ahead.
But thou shalt call thy walls salvation.
It's gonna be called what?
Salvation.
When the real Jews get there, the wall's gonna be called what?
Salvation.
The wall's gonna be called salvation, not polluting the land. Right? Right? So let's get and show who gonna put us in that land. Go ahead and read that real quick.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 4.
Right, because if this guy was a real Jew, his wife wouldn't be running things. Right? You be running your household. Because one of the things of being a Jew is to get your house in order.
That's right.
Not your wife telling you, oh, we got to go, honey, we got to do this. And that was just his excuse to get up out of here because things was getting real hot.
That's right.
We only got to the third curse. We didn't even get to the fifth and the sixth curse because you have to fit the curse from 15 all the way down. We'll be skipped around to a couple of them. Right? So read.
One that ruleth well his own house.
What the Jews do?
One that ruleth well his own house.
So the Jews rule as well their own house. Right, go ahead.
Having his children in subjection with all gravity.
With all what?
With all gravity.
Go ahead.
For if a man know not how to rule his own house,
He can't tell his wife, I'll be there in a minute. Go ahead.
how shall he take care of the church of God?
That's why we know they wicked. Right, so go ahead, read that.
Verse 18. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
Drop that. Give me Deuteronomy 30. Give me Jeremiah 3 and 18. Let's see who's going to deliver the children of Israel back into their homeland. Read that, Deuteronomy 30, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse,
That's what we was reading to the brother. The curse. Go ahead.
which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy God hath driven thee.
Right, because he kept on saying, like, some of them are rich and some of them are poor. We talking about a nation, bro. The Lord dealing with nations. Right, go ahead.
Verse 2. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
Thou and thy children.
Who?
Thou and thy children.
You and your children. The whole nation have to come back. Go ahead.
With all thy heart and with all thy soul. That then. That then.
Because then the curses was going to be uplifted off the Israelites. Then once you keep the commandments, go ahead.
The Lord thy God will turn thy
He's
captivity.
gonna do what?
He will turn thy captivity.
He's gonna do it. The Lord thy God. Not England. Not England. It says the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity. Go ahead.
And have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the
The
nations.
Lord gonna come and gather you from all the nations. Not the so-called European man. Not the so-called British man. Not the so-called American man gonna come and gather you. The Lord gonna do it. Read.
Whether the Lord thy God hath scattered thee,
Where the Lord has driven our people. Go ahead.
if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee.
Who gonna gather thee? The Lord thy God.
Will
Not-
the Lord thy God gather thee.
Right, the Lord thy God is going to gather thee, not the so-called European man, right? Not the British Union, not NATO,
Right.
not the G7. The Lord, read on.
And from thence will he fetch thee.
Then the Lord will fetch you. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed.
The Lord thy God going to bring thee into to the land. The Lord thy God is going to do it. Go ahead.
And thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thy heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses
He's going to take all the curses off the so-called Israelite. Right? Go ahead.
upon thy enemies.
Put them on where?
Upon thy
He's
enemies.
going to put the curses upon our enemies. Did that happen yet? No. So what is this dude talking about? We just proved them wrong right there. Right? Give me Jeremiah real quick.
Jeremiah 3:18.
Yeah, read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel.
The house of Judah should do what?
Shall walk with the house of
The
Israel.
house of Judah gonna walk with the house of Israel. Where? Go ahead.
And they shall come together out of the land of the north.
Out of the land of the where?
The land of the north.
No, they're gonna be already in Jerusalem.
Out of the land of the north.
I'm talking about both kingdoms, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. They walk together. How did they get to that land out of the land of the north when they say they only got one tribe over there? They say they from the tribe of Levi. There's only one tribe over there. Or they say they from the tribe of Judah. He said he a Jew, but he's from the tribe of Levi. But could you prove? Right? You got that? Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. Let's read that. Hold what you got. Hold what you got. Read that again.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel.
The children of who?
The children of Israel.
The northern kingdom, right? Go ahead.
And the children of Judah
And the southern kingdom, go ahead.
were oppressed together.
Well, what?
Were
Oppressed together.
When were these two oppressed together? Clock is ticking. Waiting. What land were these two oppressed together? Because these people were exited out, right? Before, after the what was that? The Syrian captivity. Yeah, so they was already exited out before the Babylonian captivity. Before Jeremiah, he was in the Babylonian captivity already prophesying this. So the northern kingdom was already gone. So where were they oppressed together? Still waiting, Negro, on me. Tick tock, tick tock. When were these people oppressed together? Go ahead.
And all that took them captive held them fast.
Right, where these people were took captive in one land together. The northern and southern kingdom. Go ahead.
They refused to let them go.
Right, now read what you got again.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 18. In those days, the house of Judah
The house of Judah, the southern kingdom, go ahead,
shall walk with the house of Israel.
shall be together. Okay, read that again.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
In those days,
In those days, right, go ahead.
the house of Judah
The house of Judah, go ahead.
shall walk with the house of Israel.
Walk with who?
The house of Israel.
Northern kingdom and southern kingdom gonna be together. Doing what?
And they shall come together
They're gonna come together where the brother just panned the camera around. Go ahead.
out of the land of the north.
Out of the land of the what?
The land of the north.
Did the Jewish man come together with the southern kingdom or the northern kingdom and come out of the land of the north? No. They was in Germany, Russia, right? Go ahead.
To the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers.
We're going to get that inheritance that the land he gave to our fathers. We got to come out together. Ain't no some of them there, then the other ones come back later. We got to come walk out together. Right? Go ahead, read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom.
Be glad, O daughter of Edom, because this is the last captivity. If the so-called northern kingdom that you hear the music in the background that we didn't got no rights to, right? In the background, didn't come out of the land of the north. They came out of Africa. Where the Africans at over here? Where the Africans that's going to walk out of the land of the north with the so-called Judah, the American black, right? So rejoice, O Edom, go ahead.
That dwelleth in the land of Uz.
Right, because if the so-called Esau, if the so-called Arab man, he ain't going to fit this prophecy, because that means we have to go through another captivity. Right, go ahead.
The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shall make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away. He will no more carry thee away.
We will no more go into slavery again.
Bring it out.
By the so-called Edomites. If the Edomites is the Arab, all right, brother, we got another millennium to go into captivity with the Arab man. This is the last and final captivity coming out of the land of the north with the so-called Hispanics. Go ahead.
He will no more carry thee away into captivity.
No more carry us in captivity. This is it. Go ahead.
He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
Right, so that's it on that. So we already show you that the so-called Jewish man, they don't even fit the criteria that we just read. Right? They went in slavery in Germany or whatever, the Holocaust that can't even be proven. It's all might be made up. We don't know. And we got to put it that way because the algorithm on YouTube. We don't know if it's true or not. We can't say it. So that dude ran off. Anybody want to bring something out? You bring something out. You got anything to say about it? You want to bring out about that? Right. The so-called Jewish man trying to take the inheritance of the so-called black and Hispanic. They don't want us to have nothing. We ain't even got to go to Revelation 2 and 9, 3 and 9. We don't have to go to that because everybody say y'all run to those scriptures and they ain't really saying it. We don't have to run to those scriptures to prove that the so-called Jewish man is not the so-called Israelite of the Bible. Right? Come on up and say something.
If we tell those so-called Jewish people that they are not the people, they are immediately tell you that you are anti-Semitic, right? I'm gonna tell you the meaning of Semitic. It says relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family.
Right.
Asiatic. So it's not them.
Right.
So they're using what is supposed to be for us, for them.
Right. Right. That's why when you see when Nick Cannon or somebody brings something out about the so-called Jewish man, they get barred. Yep. You know? And I wouldn't even be surprised if you two take this down because we're going talking about the so-called Jewish man. Right? Because even right here, you see the so-called Jewish man right here. Right? And you got the real Jew right here. And they stole our identity.